everyone. Welcome to a very special episode of Achieving Success with Olivia Atkin. I'm your host, Olivia Atkin, and today we're celebrating 2 amazing years of this podcast. And we're doing it in a very exciting new way. Today we're embarking on an achievement quest. This isn't your typical anniversary episode where we just look back on our old memories. Oh no, this is going to be an interactive adventure where we'll unlock some major achievements, reflect on personal growth, and most importantly, celebrate you, the listeners who's made all of this possible. So, are you ready to begin the quest? Let's dive in. As we begin on our achievement quest, I want to take you back to where we were last year. In year 1, we reached listeners in 21 countries, which felt like an incredible accomplishment. This past year, something extraordinary has happened. Our reach has grown to 35 countries. That means we're connecting with people all over the world, from the United States to Australia, from Brazil to India, and even in places like Qatar, South Africa, and the Netherlands. But here's what really makes this year special. Not only have we expanded our global reach, but we're now connected with listeners in some of the most unexpected places. For example, did you know Achieving Success with Olivia Atkin is now reaching listeners in Antarctica? That's right. People stationed at the bottom of the world are tuning in and connecting with this podcast. This is something actually that was a goal of mine going into January of 2024 when I realized we were in 6 continents. I was like, can we get all 7? And we did it. So it's truly amazing to think that even in one of the most remote places on earth, people are listening to our episodes and being inspired by stories of success. It's a reminder that no matter where we are, the quest for personal and professional growth is universal. Now, alongside this incredible global growth, there's another achievement I'm extremely proud of. We've held our place in the top 5% most listened to podcasts globally for 2 years straight. That's rare in the podcast world. Most shows fluctuate between rankings, dropping to top 10%, bouncing back, and shifting based on trends. But thanks to you guys, our amazing listeners, we've stayed consistent. We've kept growing, and that's because of your continued support and engagement. So as we start this achievement quest, I want to turn the focus on you. Take a moment to reflect on your own success over the past year. What's something you've achieved that has made you proud? It doesn't have to be something massive. Maybe it's a small goal you've accomplished, or maybe it's something personal you've overcome. Take a moment to think about it. I'll give you a few seconds. Now, here's the fun part. I want to hear about it. Share your success with me on social media using the hashtag success unlocked. Let's celebrate those victories together. No achievement is too small, and I'd love to hear and know what success looks like for each of you. All right, adventurers, let's move on to the next part of our quest. While we're all about striving for success, we can't forget that success is also about enjoying the journey. And let's be honest, some of the best moments in life are the ones we didn't see coming. Sometimes it's those unexpected detours that bring the most joy and laughter along the way. For me, there have been plenty of moments where things didn't go as planned while recording episodes for this podcast. I've had technical glitches, last-minute guest changes, and even some hilarious interruptions during interviews that still make me laugh to this day. But you know what? Those moments of chaos are part of the fun. They keep things real and remind me that life isn't always perfect, but it can be joyful in the most unexpected ways. Now, I want you to think about a moment in the past year where something didn't go according to plan, but it ended up being a memory that made you laugh or smile, and even both. Maybe it was something funny at work, or maybe it was something at home that just completely went off the rails in the most entertaining way possible. So here's your challenge. Think about that moment and share it with me. Use the hashtag achievement quest and let me know about that funny, unexpected moment from your year. Because at the end of the day, success isn't just about getting things right. It's about finding the joy in the journey, even when things go wrong. All right, I can't wait to hear your stories. Remember, laughter keeps us going, and it's such a vital part of staying balanced while we chase our goals. Now that we've talked about celebrating the fun and laughter along the way, I want to switch gears and talk about something that's been a huge part of the podcast's mission: self-care. Achieving success can sometimes come with pressure, long hours, and stress, and it's easy to fall into the trap of burning out. But here's the truth: you can't keep achieving if you don't take care of yourself first. I've had to remind myself of this often, especially in the past year. As the podcast has grown, there were moments where I was tempted to push through, even when I was exhausted. But I had to remember that success isn't just about doing more, it's about doing things in a sustainable way. That's why self-care is such an important part of this quest for success. So here's the next challenge. I want you to make a self-care pledge. Think about one thing you're going to do for yourself this year to prioritize your own well-being. It could be as simple as taking a few minutes each day to meditate, making time for exercise, or even something as bold as taking a break from work when you need it. This key to making sure you're filling your own cup so that you have the energy to keep moving forward. Take a moment now to reflect on what self-care pledge will be for you. I'll give you a few seconds to think about that. Got it? Great. Now share your self-care pledge with me using the hashtag success balance. Let's hold each other accountable to take care of ourselves as we continue to chase success. Because remember, success isn't a sprint, it's a marathon, and you'll need to stay balanced to make it to the finish line. As we near the end of our achievement quest, I want to look ahead to the future. We've reflected on our successes, laughed at the unexpected moments, and made self-care pledges. But now, let's think about what comes next. What's one bold goal you have for the next year? Maybe it's launching that project you've been dreaming about, advancing your career, starting a new hobby, or making a significant change in your life. Whatever it is, I want you to commit to it. Let's set ourselves up for an amazing year 3 of a growth and achievement. Take a moment to think about your bold goal for the year ahead. And here's your final challenge. Share that goal with me using the hashtag success unlocked. By putting it out there, you're making a commitment to yourself and the Achieving Success community. I'll be sharing my bold goal as well, and I can't wait to hear all about yours. And just like that, we've completed our achievement quest. You've reflected on your achievements, shared your laughs, made a self-care pledge, and set a bold goal for your future. This has been such an incredible way to celebrate 2 years of achieving success with Olivia Atkin. I'm so grateful that you've been here with me every step of the way. Remember, success is not a straight line. It's a journey filled with wins, laughter, and the need for balance. I can't wait to continue this journey with you into year 3. And I know that together, we'll keep achieving amazing things. Thank you for being a part of the Achieving Success with Olivia Atkin family. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share your favorite moments from this episode with me. Here's to another incredible year ahead. You thought it was over, but it's not. In fact, it's just getting started. Here's a glimpse of some of the amazing stories and insights shared by some of our incredible guests in year 2. Let their words inspire, challenge, and entertain you. Here's to another incredible year ahead.
And I got called back to for I thought it was going to be an interview, and it was in a hotel room, and this guy told me go down to room number whatever 2 floors below, and it was a polygraph. So I had to take a polygraph on the spot, and then when fortunately I passed the poly, and then they told me now we can tell you everything about the opportunities. So they told me about the opportunities, and they said if you're interested, we will go forward with the interview process. And that was another week trip back. This time with my wife accompanying me. From Monday to Friday, full day of interviews, and went back home, and I had to come back again for one more session of interviews, and then I wait the phone call, and when I got that phone call, they said, "Congratulations, you can start in the training class that's starting in a few months." So that's how I was recruited in the organization, and then I had to go through training, and then I had a 20+ year career with the organization. So that's how I got in. But as initially as I said, that was the thing. I had never even thought I'd be working for the federal government.
And independent, in other words, independently, it's your job to find joy, to find your purpose, to find wholeness within yourself. Because you can't love anyone else until you love yourself. Can't do it. And how am I going to take care of you if I'm messed up? How can I help you if I'm messed up? And love, by the way, if you want to go to that beautiful little book called the Bible, and I mean, I study all kinds of psychology and neuroscience. I mean, noradrenaline, norepinephrine, serotonin, the cortisol, dopamine reward system. We get into that, and I have victory now, because you need to know why you do what you do, why you think what you think, why this little critter up here does what it does. Instead of letting that thing work against you, let's make it work for you. But we'll get into that later. That might be a second one. But
boxing is not like other professional sports in that there is this weeding out system from the go. I mean, there is a bit, but it's not like, for example, football, where you play great in high school and all the best high school players end up in college, and all the best college players end up in pros. But at that point, everyone's been weeded out. It's not really like that. You can make an okay living, certainly not I don't think is respectable, but certainly an okay living being like a perennial B-side fighter coming and just being somebody's tomato can to knock over and lose to bolster the record, and I never wanted that to be me. So that meant doing it the best way possible, and yeah, it was a transformative journey, but I turned myself into somebody who could do it full time and not as an opponent.
You're going to work with different people. Some are more difficult than others. The flow will be more natural with some people than it will with others, but you'll most likely have a conversation with more than one person during the interview process. Ask different questions. Get to the bottom of what the job really is, what the team is like, what the expectations are, what kind of management style someone has. That's going to be so important for you to know. People need to be managed differently. They need different kinds of training and feedback. Some people work very well autonomously, and others need more regular check-ins. And that doesn't make you a better or worse performer. That's how you work best. And you need to have a team that kind of supports that. So you have to look for that in the interview process, so that when you step foot into your new job on day one, it's not such a big shock and surprise. As most people go on in their career, they tend to make better choices when they accept jobs, because you learn that sort of thing as you go. But
I was a little nervous because every big star in the movie was in the scene, but it was my scene, and well, at least in my mind it was. But I remember my first day, I walked in with a coffee for that scene, and Holly Hunter's there, and she was dressed all in white, and I leaned down to talk to her just to say, what a joy it's going to be to work with you, or blah, 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 something. And George Clooney came through like a tornado, bumped into me, knocked my coffee, and it went all over her white dress, or white whatever she was wearing. And I think it was her regular stuff. We were there to rehearse first, and I was like mortified. And George walks in, "Oh, sorry," and I was like, so sorry. Well, yeah, don't worry about it. No. So I was really nervous going into my first speech. And I just remember going, all right, well, you people hired me, and maybe that was your mistake, because I'm just going to go and do what I want to do now. I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth. I just dumped coffee over the star. I'm just going to go and do my thing. And it worked out.
Story about leaving corporate America. Can you imagine the cost of if you didn't do that and where you would be right now? And that's what I call the opportunity cost. We don't think about the things we don't do. And there is a cost effective, associated with that. Like you said, not making a decision is a decision. So when we're navigating our next pathway, whether that be another corporate job, entrepreneurship, whatever it may be, we're not thinking about the cost of not doing this and when the impact that may have. And that's where that big, F word kicks in, fear.
What I do is my team, I usually travel strong with like 5 or 6 people, and I plant them in the audience. And I ask them to listen for like, okay, who's this Scott Ferguson guy? Great mental stuff. And get that feedback from them as well and see, where they're coming from. And like, I start every single one of my, speaking engagements on a trampoline. Like, I'm a huge believer in rebounding. And when I'm out there on the stage, I have a trampoline out there and people are like, what the heck's going on? And I tell them, I might be talking about overlapping your happiness or don't take life too seriously, whatever I'm going to get into. But I always start with the benefits of rebounding. I say, hey, listen, I'm going up and down. And they say, I'm like, your blood, beats at night. It purifies your blood. Your heart beats at night, purifies your blood. But, there's a lymph system that your body has. And it's a one-way valve. And the only way you can get it out, I'm like, if you're this far off the trampoline, you're at 0 gravity. You hit the trampoline, you're at 4 times gravity. So it flushes out your lymph system, which is where cancer, which is disease, inflammation is all stored. So I'm on a rebounder every morning and I'm on stage. So Olivia, if I'm rebounding.
You have the severe heart condition, which is what killed my mother 3 weeks before. And he said, I don't want you to be under any false impression that anything we did here is going to give you a longer lifespan. You need to prepare yourself for your own mortality. And that is not anything that I intended to hear. And it was a moment of real clarity that I had survived something, but that survival could be short-lived. And talk about getting slapped in the face with reality. It really created within me, all right, Randy, then what are you going to do with the rest of your life?
Success for me looks like positively impacting people's lives. And that can be through daily actions or long-lasting change. And it's part of the reason that I pursue policy. And I think one of the things that's most important to me in that is doing it authentically and staying true to my values and who I am on that path to achieving that success. And lastly, in that feeling happy and fulfilled while doing it. I think a lot of times